G'day and welcome to the Early Crow Captain's Run, episode 15, Derby Day weekend. One of the great weekends in horse racing, group action all day long at headquarters, Flemington. And God bless you, PVL, for pulling up your socks and adding a bit of to the offering in Sydney on Saturday with the big fat golden eagle. And we pray to God, Zeus, Allah, Bilbo, that Southport Tycoon gets it done there. But let's focus on one of the great days traditionally and still, and as we kick off 4 of the best days of the year at Flemington, we start with Derby Day. P-Rat.
Mate, 100%. Firstly, how fucking good is this card overall? Like, there are just angles galore on Saturday.
I would describe Derby Day almost always as a tough day, but a juicy day, and a day where if you can walk into it with a good couple of months under your belt and a bit of momentum, you can sort of play the game because you get good odds, so you get well rewarded if you get it right and if you get enough luck. And it can be a very, very brutal day, but the sun is shining. A little bit of rain this morning in Melbourne. I think there'll be probably some irrigation applied because it's just perfect down here. It's the best draining performing track in Australia, and it looks like they're going to get ideal conditions come Saturday. So, yeah, with the big fields and the good horses, you can't have too many $2 shots, you know. So you're getting a price, and if you can find enough winners, it can be one of the great days all time.
Yep, and I've got one for you, mate. I'm feeling a little bit of flatness from you, so going into Derby Day, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Derby Day at Flemington. Saturday is the day where dreams are made. Stallions and fillies are made. I believe that there's one gelding in there. If they could politely fuck off, that's not a part of the narrative.
Stolly Bolly.
Stolly Bolly, you're ruining my pump-up speech. We are not just here for the thrill of the race. We are here to witness history. As the horses load into the gates and Matty Hill gets his dulcet tones over Flemington, you're standing at the clock tower in anticipation for these horses to jump out the gates. Whether you're here for the thrill, the tradition, or just a great day out of the track, Derby Day, plus PVL's little sprinkle, is one of the great days on earth. You do you, Dicko, fucking fire up, and let's get into the show. Mate, Flemington.
Gamble responsibly, 1-800-858 or visit
the website. Dicko, Flemington, rail true. How do we see Saturday playing out?
It's the fairest position probably at Flemington, particularly on the circle. Leaders can win, but they're not as advantaged as they are elsewhere. The straight racing, we want to try and avoid the back marker as much as possible, but they still can win. It's the best track in Australia, and days like this is when it's the best track to bet on, because if you're taking a get back run on horse, you might be taking $4.60, $5 instead of taking the $2.50, $3 you are every other time we're here. So yeah, it's good. It's good
Love
stuff.
it, mate. Let's start with previewing 2 races. Let's start with the Coolmore Stud Stakes over 1,200. We've got Growing Empire at the top of the market, $3.70. Traffic Warden, $4.20. Switzerland, $6.50. Lady of Camelot, $6.50. Bellatrix Star, $8.50. And then it goes along with the rest, mate. How do you see, firstly, this map playing out?
Well, firstly, I don't know if it was Tom or I or you, but we asked you to gamble responsibly and take a position at $26 on Growing Empire. We now approach Grand Final Day with one of the great tickets all time, probably second only to the Duke de Sessa ticket we held ahead into the Caulfield Cup. So I'd hope that many of you are on Growing Empire with us, and that's a good thing, because reports are he's flying, holding condition, etc., etc. and he maps really well. Draw 9, Mark Zara back on. He'll sit forward somewhere near Lady of Camelot, who's the likely leader. Yoshi Nobu, Enriched, they're probably the other speed influences. On the fat side, the grandstand side, Gallant Sun, Switzerland, thereabouts. Gatsby's gets a lovely run from 7. I think Stolly Bolly probably gets Gatsby's back. Bodyguard worse than midfield, well worse than midfield. Coleman in the ruck somewhere thereabouts. First settler near Coleman. Bitter Creek's probably worse than midfield. Bellatrix Star, Traffic Warden, bring them up. As I said, it's often an advantage sort of on pace horses down the straight. These horses are probably largely a third to two-thirds of them are pretty special. So you can sort of throw that out the window to an extent, but there's still advantages to be in run, right? And I want to be on pace and I want to be grandstand side as a rule. That really suits us, those of us that are with Growing Empire at the fat price, because Traffic Warden's going to get back and he's going to be on the inside. Because he gets back, he can get to the grandstand side should Jamie Carr want to. He's also drawn inside, so he's got to load nice and early, and we pray to God, Zeus, Allah Bilbo, that the Sheik, he's got plenty. He owns a country, I think, plus the biggest stable in the world. So if this horse doesn't load correctly and has to scratch like it did in the Everest, well, so be it. We'll take that. Obviously, if there's punters out there with a good futures ticket, Traffic Warden, well, I feel for you, but I don't feel for the Sheik. Stolly Bolly, big price. Mailers has went enormous through the week. It ties in through Gallant Sun. First settler, we know it. Coleman comes through the Manicato, then went to Sydney. It's got an SP edge over Switzerland. Switzerland's the map horse, the Uncle Chris horse, Grand Final Day horse. Scary, scary, scary. Versus Tina. Bellatrix Star just keeps on winning. It's the C-grade form, like I said, but she's a Lion Savage as Sheen style. So she's got ability. She's in form. Lady Camelot and Bellatrix are the two fillies in the race, and Stolly Bolly's the gelding. I think there's 3 main hopes versus their prices available for you guys at home if you haven't had a bet yet. They are Growing Empire, who I've got about 320. I'm trusting the stable. I like Mark Zara going back on. I love the map, and I like the fact that it's one down the straight. That win down the straight, if you do your research and do your reviews, it was ultra heroic, impressive, brave, tough, everything you love to see in a colt. There was a big 40k wind he was running into, and he was very, very tough. He handles it straight. He's flying. The raps from the right people are massive. Pistol Pete, the mounting yard man for the mailbag.com.au. Go there, get accountable betting advice. He loves his colt. I think Switzerland, I don't think the form's grouse, and I don't like that it has an SP negative against Coleman, but it's going to get the right run. And we saw last week how Chris Waller just seems to get these horses to fire big time in a grand final. And on the sort of Waller peaking them idea, this is, I think, this year's potential osmosis P-Rat.
Yep.
The 8 Gatsby's. Very, very good fresh. And he's kind of like, hey, this horse is real good. Let's take the foot off. Let's go to the Coolmore. Let's get him there. Have him wound up then. Just chuck the blinkers on.
With a couple of blinkers on.
He's a big price, $34 this morning, Gatsby's. They're the 3 that I think are genuine overs in the race. I thought Traffic Warden was a tad short for the antics and the head noise and the problems he has with his behaviour. But other than that, I make Traffic Warden $550. I'm not savaging the horse. I wouldn't lay the horse. I just think that Switzerland's just value. I think Growing Empire is value, and I think Gatsby's is value. So Growing Empire is already a great result for me. I probably won't back it again, obviously, because I've already got a great result for it, and I hope you guys do too who watch our shows.
Yep.
Gatsby's will be added as a significant result for myself and my guys. So that's how I see this year's Coolmore. I think it's a great addition, and I think it's a credit to everyone because these colts they're lured to bigger and better races and bigger prize money races at the moment, and this race has stood up this year. So it's great to see for our sport, and it's a really cracking edition of the Coolmore.
I just want to get one of them out of the way, one of the you-do-yous to go, just because you'll find this hilarious. So James has written in and said, Flemington race 6, number 6, first settler for his early crow inspired all up. Are you ready for this? Duke de Cessida Place, Caulfield Cup, tick, $7.25. Bella Nipotina Place, the Everest, $2.50 tick. Via Sistina, Cox Plate, $2.13 the place, tick. He's got first settler as a place getter. I can't imagine what the all up would have been paying if you had to back all of those to win as well. I hope, James, that you maybe had $1 on the all up.
Yeah, it's a great bet, and James has been a little stiff because there's worlds and simulations where Growing Empire, Traffic Warden, Coleman.
Yeah, they don't lobby.
A few of these win their Group 1s in their last couple of starts, or go off and they've been asked to do too much in the preparation and they're not here.
Yeah,
and they are now, and that's a setback for James. I thought this horse was enormous last start. It was not suited as back and buried, sustained a long run, I think in slightly inferior ground. I think it's going to run a big race.
Love that, mate. Let's go to race 8 then, the Empire Rose. It is across the 1,600 metres, Group 1, weight for age for the fillies and mares. As I continue to stall as I bring the market up.
Tissue's favourite just from...
Yep, Tissue $4.60, Amelia's Jewel $6, Orchestrial $6.50, Plenty of Ammo on the quick back up $6.50, Alsafina $10, Komachi 13s, and then longer the rest. How do you see this playing out?
I think this is a great race. Now, I'm previewing it for you, and I'm betting on a fair track. I think Grinzinger Bell controls the race speed-wise. I think Komachi will get a really nice run. Revolutionary Miss, Plenty of Ammo, and Amelia's Jewel, the blinker's back on. Really nice run. See You in Heaven's got to make a big decision. So I don't think it's sore out 600 metres, but it goes again at it. Drawn wide. Asilfina, Lady in Pink, nice runs. Zardozi, who's going to the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, drops back from the Caulfield Cup 2,400 metres to this race. It'll be very cold. Ridden cold, because it's on track to run on Tuesday. Sox Nations, tricky draw. Ladvarte has got an interesting map. It could be a little bit more positive than people think, and I think Orchestral and Tissue with Zardozi will be the back three. A great race. I could understand if you liked a bunch of them. I think the key players betting-wise are Revolutionary Miss and Plenty of Ammo. They're hovering around prices that interest me. Amelia's Jewel, I can't get as short as it is. I think it's sort of priced off reputation, not what it's been doing. Blinker's back on, maybe that fires her up, but Orchestral is a very scary horse. Mark Zara goes on, Blinkers go on, but the SP last start sort of grabbed me up enough to avoid it. Everywhere I cut this up, I think a Tissue is one of the greatest bets of all time in a very hard race. I don't know how she's $4.60. I think she should be $3.20, $3. She started $4 something last start versus fucking Mr. Brightside.
$4 exactly.
This is back to mares only.
Yep.
She started $4 something in this race last year and got beaten by a horse called Pride of Jenny.
That is correct. And that was
form.
It was first up too.
Like some of these other horses, yeah, they're going good, but they're not running into Pride of Jenny's, they're not running into Brightsides. They're running into okay horses. They're on the up, yeah, but this is the grouse form. Loves Flemington, J-Mac. The SPs are just fucking outstanding, and it's Uncle Chris. This horse will run in this race, and if it runs well or okay, let's hope it wins because we're all on now. It'll back up and run again Saturday week on Champions Day, either in the mile race or the 2,000 metre race. So I think a Tissue in a good race is one of the greatest bets of all time at $4.60. Anything. If you can have a ticket with a 4 on it, you've shopped really well The only setback we could have, but I reckon this horse could overcome it, is an on-pace bias.
Yep. Last prep, and it's leading to a fillies and mares race over 1600, ran in the Tab Australian Cup over 2000, dropped back to the 1600 and basically dead-heated with Zoo Gotcha. It's done the exact same thing here. 2,000 metres, last start, back to 1600, back to fillies and mares grade. He's a genius when he does this, Waller.
And he's just got an uncanny knack for getting good horses to run huge PBs whenever he wants them to, like on a grand final. And this, I'd hope, is a grand final for a tissue.
Yep, agreed, mate. Let's get into You Do You. You wrote in on Instagram, Twitter, and I checked Facebook this week because somebody did write one in there, but there was none in there. So all good there. Let's get straight into it, mate. We're going to, obviously, starting at Flemington. We go to race 2. It is horse number 15, Stage and Screen. And Salmonator wants to know why it can win. Believe Salmonator's in the Genius as well, the great man. In with
Suited
a Mailbag
last
Bloodstock
start,
horse.
1A. Was strong. It was a really strong debut. Suited on debut in a soft race. Drawn 12 here, though, in a high-pressure race. So it's tricky, but you're getting the price to find out. There's absolutely no knock on what it did, and it's got this horse actually has scope.
Right, mate. On to horse number 4 now. I Am Velvet, and Jacob wants to know. Bailey wants to know why it can win.
Well, it's got this big fat number from earlier in its career. It looked like it was going to be suited last start, but then in the coffin, then it was held up badly key stage. SPs are enormous and it goes inside to outside, so it's going to get clear air and every opportunity. If it's good enough, it's going to win.
And then the next horse for the Sheik, mate, Zatung, with Zara on board. This is Jacob. He wants to know why it can win.
One of the big jockey switches all time. He also gets a golden switch outside barrier to inside barrier, so he can cuddle it, he can get cover, he can sneak runs. SPs are handy enough. I thought the only chink for this horse was at 0 from 5 on good tracks, but it profiles to explode here.
Well, I can understand why Joel might like the number 9 here, mate. Good start, because it's J-Mac on for a Waller runner.
Good sort, not suited and good last start. $26 chance in the Sydney Group 3 goes Lloyd to J-Mac, was the 6th fastest last 400 metres and 200 metres of the entire day last start.
And then we go to horse number 12, More Territories, and this one is from Nash.
Karen off, Hugh Bowman on, Chop King Senior. Lovely form, decent SPs. Barrier 11 half tricky, but in that running line, if good enough, gets its chance here. You can just see it. It's just going to blend into the race, and if that Sydney form and that the trainers have got this horse to peak on the day, boom.
And then flick over to the next race, mate, which is the 1200 metre Rising Fast Stakes. Let's start at the top. Bishin aboard, Star Patrol.
Not suited, half wide, half a give, but plain last start. Blinkers go back on and mell them off. Shin on. Genuine bet.
And then one that I know that you like, horse number 11, Jai McNeil, Griffiths de Kock, Ray Magnerio.
480 this morning was a fucking gift. Slowly away, held up key stage, not suited, back. 3 pairs on the inside, which was inferior ground. Very, very good again. Been enormous. Both starts his preparation. Gets to a track where he won't have any excuses. Ready to win.
And then the next horse, mate, which is Charmstone, Damien Lane on for Price and Kent Jr. And this one is from Daniel.
Not suited first up Caulfield. Wide barrier. They jumped and they snicked. Went back. Savaged the line. The form around this horse is proper. You ignore the form out of its first start run, which just kicked off and they went back. They were just giving it a nice run. This has the grousest 3-year-old form there is. This is D-Day for this horse.
Flick the page, mate. Go to the Damien Oliver race number 4. The only horse we want to touch on in this race is horse number 5, Shin for Ma, Jimmy Star.
Shin sticks. The horse is fucking airborne. It was an enormous win versus the bias last start. I think the form's actually stronger. You can sort of just go with your eye and the data, and then you go, well, it wasn't on paper a great race. Super Razzie was in that race and was good there. He was enormous again, Super Razzie, in a very good race at Moonee Valley last weekend. So I think it's another tick for the form. I think in a 2-horse race, Jimmy Star's going to be one. He's going to run top 2. Hopefully for you, it wins.
On to race number 5, the Wakeful. We start with horse number 5, Powers of Opal, and that one is for Luke.
Form's handy. J-Mac, handy. Got the grouse data that I've frothed. Some of it sort of stole from Hawkesbury, where it went and started $1.18 and just kicked their heads in, won by 5.5. Prior to that, though, I put the writing on the wall to say, I'm potentially an Oaks filly. I love the preparation. They've shown enough. Let's go and just get a nice kill, teach her how to win. Drawn outstanding with J-Mac on. I think she's good enough, and we're going to find out because she's got the perfect barrier with the perfect rider.
Love it, mate. And then we've done this race pretty in depth, so just quick answers here in the Coolmore. We'll start with number 5, Switzerland for Finlay.
Nice win last start. Nash off, J-Mac on. $10 versus Traffic Warden. First up. Traffic Warden was $8 there, so there's a case just in that. It's only raced Sydney. Is the 5th fastest last 400 and 200 metres of the day last start. So
number 12, Gallant Sun.
This horse has been ridden with zero intent thus far this preparation. Either PG Moody of Benson and Hedges and Nose Roll fame is losing it, or is about to pull off one of the great training performances of all time, and sort of, once it wins, tell you about how we didn't want to cook him early. We knew what we had under the tank there. We were just trying to build him into a preparation and teach him to settle.
Yeah.
We'll find out on Saturday. This horse can win. The form out of that, the rating out of that debut win at Sale was big time.
Nose roll off, blinkers on, intent? Question mark. Yeah. Then
passive dart smoke's still there though.
Number 14, mate, Bellatrix Star. You touched on it before, but this one is for Alex.
Willow to Shin, 650 last start and pumped Oscar's Fortune. Oscar's Fortune was backed into favourite in the McEwen Stakes at Moonee Valley in a good race. The 2 horses that beat him there will be Group 1 horses in time. She's flying. Mare in form, or filly in form.
Slide over to race 7, mate. The Derby, 2500 or Derby. Don't come at me. Let's start with horse number 4, Gold Rush Guru, and this is for Isaac and Luke.
J Car on. This horse was like overs early, but they cleaned it up. I was hoping they missed this horse. It's a very tricky map, which I thought would get you a better price. J Car on, she'll be able to handle it. This horse is a genuine, legitimate winning chance.
I've just seen your map. Oh my god. Anyway.
It's chaos.
It is fucking chaos. Zav from X Trials wants to know about Politely Done. I think he's in love with this horse or something. I don't know why he keeps writing in about it, but anyway.
These silks in this race is a triggering episode for me. I hope for Zav's sake that they show some intent. I'm glad they ran the horse last week and didn't avoid the run and just take him there half underdone. It's been a patient and methodical preparation from Danny, and the inside draw and D-lane sticking's big positives. I think there's a chance this horse gets flushed out the back of the surf as they sort of slow down if they're not aggressive enough early to get a good spot, but I suspect it'll savage the line.
Then on to the next horse, mate, which is horse number 8, King of Thunder, J-Mac.
Again, I think this horse with Gold Rush Guru was the early overs, and they've nibbled both. It not suited badly last week versus Red Aces. The SPs were handy. He just looked like he wanted Flemington and tempo, and I think he'll get both here. There's real pressure out wide early in this map, and they've got not that long to make a decision, so you either go for it or you dog it. And whatever happens, J-Matt's just going to be jumping and holding a position on the fence. He needs to settle better than he settled at Moonee Valley, but he's got the right rider in the right camp to figure it out. So, great winning chance. Going to get the most economical run of the horses in the market outside of Red Aces.
We've got race 8, number 2, Amelia's Jewel. This one is for Tom.
Tommy, the blinkers on again, T-Berry off, J-Car on. $13 SP last start versus Jaya Wolf. That's a really relevant SP that we saw stand up last week in Melbourne.
Then on to... Oh, sorry, mate. Then on to horse number 8, Lekvade for Daniel and Jace, the Guru Hori.
Oh, Jace. Rob Scurry's got a massive amount of lead in the pencil for this horse. $9 last start in a Group 3. Beat Quickstar, which is the grey up for me, but he beat him. He's got genuine scope and claims in this race, and the push from Scurry tells me this horse is an outstanding type.
There was only one horse in that meeting to win from worse than 8th position at the 1,000-metre mark, and it was it. It fucking hooned home.
Unfortunately, my man that does a lot of note-taking in Sydney, where I sort of can't get to all the time, just keeps going to like foreign countries and letting the team down. But what can you do?
Then on to the last race.
So that would have been a great thing to say if I had got that note. But I've got Levate just under the market, so we'll be cuddling it.
Love it. And then the Furphy Sprint Mate, 1,100 metres down the straight. We've only got one in this race. Chris wants to know about horse number 4, Limb Picker for Curry and K&K Keys.
On the quick back up, not suited, no intent last start. Back and wide, good late. Gets a soft midfield run here from a middle draw. I think you're going to see $51, $61 late, and that's a good price if you want to have a bet. So that's you do you for Flemington Derby Day covered. We'll do another one through the week, sometime for Cup Week, I reckon. I don't know. Praddy will push, and we'll see what we say yes to.
Yeah.
We obviously got a few requests for Sydney and other joints. Unfortunately, Tom, although our Sydney man, nowhere to be found. So, at my request, if you could pound the Sydney ones in next week and just get him back into gear real quick, that'd be very, very handy. So, apologies if you put in a Sydney one. We're not going to get to them because I am balls deep in Flemington and Moonee Valley on Friday night. So, hope you understand. And if you don't, well, you do you.
As I said on Monday's episode, we don't know how much we'll put out next week, but we will at least get one episode out. It'll be heavily racing focused, whether it's a full-blown captain's run or if it's just winging it. Because, Dicko, for the mailbag bloodstock, have you now got 2 runners next week, or is it just still the one?
We will likely have a runner Cup Day.
Yep.
We will likely have a runner in the Kyneton Cup on Wednesday.
Excuse me?
And we will definitely have a runner Thursday, Oaks Day, Flemington. That's all I know of in the short term. There could be more runners, I don't know. But they're the next 3 big ones in Melbourne.
So I think just putting that out there in the atmosphere, there's 4 days of form for us to get through this week. And then plus Tico's got runners galore where he'll probably be attending the races. So we'll do our best. We'll get at least one episode out next week. But when it is and what time it is, we don't know.
100% going to Kyneton, and I'm obviously going to have to go to the Flemington ones. If you're bored on Wednesday, go to Kyneton.
Kyneton's
my horse will probably win. I'll tell you, if you're there to have a bet or not, it'll be at least $2 or $3, $4. It is the most picturesque, beautiful racetrack I've ever been to in my life. I was an extra there.
Here we go.
Jack Irish. I'm not sure what episode or season it was, but I was part of it. So, Piercy, good dear friend, Guy Pearce, we do the work there. So, Kyneton, a very special place, and I look forward to getting back there on Wednesday. Maybe we should go to Kyneton and do a video, and I can sort of run you through my roles, what I did, what I was thinking when I did that take and stuff.
Yeah, you can try and get me work off, mate. We'll get that one done.
There was about 35 extras, and I was the only one that came they didn't want to change my dress.
Is that because you just fit into the role of a bum perfectly?
I
or what?
took options.
Love it, mate. Love it. That'll do for the Captain's Run. A massive thanks to people who've been getting around us on YouTube and rating us on Spotify. They've gone through the roof recently. If you haven't, subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify. It helps us out massively. And Dicko, that'll wrap us up. And look forward to Derby Day.
Have a phenomenal weekend. Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential advice, visit the website or call 1-800-858-858. Have a great weekend. And bye for now.
Bye for now.